Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here in the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for March 19th, 2023, with your host, Spacebaker2448 and Rampant Epsilon.
Hi.
I didn't realize how stupid one scene was until you pointed out on the pre-show. I hate it.
Uh-huh. Because I would be perfectly fine with your answer of yes, that one room was built by the Minicon. But that would also assume that they were planning on taking kids with them from the start. That was literally a last-minute move.
Yep.
They had no time to do that.
Maybe they had time when they were flying to Cybertron.
Oh, between trying to not get shot out of the space and or when, you know, part of the Autobots were stranded on that one planet and probably had everyone else paying attention to figuring out where they were at.
Sure.
Meanwhile, while the Minicon were like, threat. We have threat. Get people here. We have threat.
We need to blow up the moon. That's literally what these 4 episodes feel like. They're telling us we need to blow up the moon. Why are we blowing up the moon? Because the moon houses the devil. That's it. That's the plot of these 4 episodes. How much do we have to convince Galvatron to help us go blow up the moon?
And how much do we have to make it so plot convenient that the Minicon are part of Unicron?
Yep. But I guess before that, anything on Geats this past week?
I mean, besides the fact that the subgroups are falling behind on this now, and I'm not pleased with that. I had to wait a while before where I've been watching actually had one up.
Oh, yeah, Isu's had theirs up this morning. They must not have gotten it on the sites.
Must not have.
Yeah, because let me look. Correction, they had it up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Give me the link to them because I will just follow them instead.
Oh, this is for like download and stuff.
I'm fine with that.
Oh, okay. Let me just link you this, because it will be easier.
I am perfectly fine with downloading if I have to.
Alright.
Because in a case like today, I would have downloaded. I actually tried to see if anyone had it, kind of deal, and I wasn't finding.
Of course, Isu's the only one up with a Geats at the moment.
I think that's what happened.
Now King Oger's up. Damn it! I've been waiting on King Oger all day.
I honestly think that that's what happened. Is that it just fell behind. I might actually, now that I'm looking at this, because that's 4 different ones that are up there. I'm assuming 2 of those is probably Raws. Or no, all 3 of them are. I see it there.
Yeah, they are. The little label next to it says if it's the yellow one, it's live action sub. If it's the gray one, it's live action Raw. They are nicely labeled like that.
I am fine with that. That makes me wonder then, have they been the ones that have gotten out first with most of them?
Yes. Easy's been out first, I think, every week.
That makes me wonder because the site that I've been using usually grabs from whoever's first.
Mm-hmm.
That's why some shows it's a mixed bag, and then some shows it's pretty uniform.
Mm-hmm.
But we might have been watching the same ones this whole time.
Yeah, because I think week to week right now it's Izu, Excite, Anonymous, who are name redacted. If you know, you know. And I think one other subgroup, I forget who. I could have sworn there's one other subgroup, but they're not here. But yeah, Geets of the week. Is Geets really trying to play off Jin figuring out what his whole deal is?
Yes.
Like, I was listening to a podcast and they're talking about how one of them was hoping that like everything Geets has been telling us is just a straight up lie, and then he's been fucking with us the whole time. There's actually nothing really special with him, but I'm like, they've gotten too elaborate at this point and too in depth. Like, there's clearly a reason behind all this nonsense that he does.
Okay. I would have thought it was all a bunch of crap before last week's episode.
Yeah.
After that one, though, I'm like, okay, there's some truth to the ace we currently have.
Yeah.
It's one of those that's where that kind of shifts. Like the whole thing about him trying to wish to see his mom, that wasn't this ace, that is within his reincarnation cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of those, I don't count that as a lie. I count that more as a bending of the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's some things that he's done that I'm like, no, you're straight up lying there, bud.
Also, apparently, Trust Last in Ace's character theme, which is called Stars of the Stars of the Stars, were both written with this whole reincarnation thing in mind, which makes me feel like I'm going to have to go relook at those lyrics for both songs and see what they're saying, because maybe they're hiding more.
Maybe, but that's a question mark.
Oh, this was directly from like the producers and stuff.
No, I mean,
I don't
as
know
far as them hiding more in.
You're right.
In there, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's a question mark for sure.
Mm-hmm. Also, hey, look, I was right about Mark II not being in Berserk form and it just being an unstable power that's going to require the laser arrays riser to stabilize so Geets can use it properly.
Yep.
So it's almost like I've been watching too many of these. Because I re-looked at my tier list and I realized I have watched 30 different writer shows / main writer specials in movies at this point.
Well, okay. I get, looking at it, I get why people thought it was probably going to be a Berserk mode.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really didn't take a look at just the base, what the suit actually looks like kind of deal, until today. Yeah, I completely understand it. There is a lot of dark colors. The people are gonna be associating that with our Berserk modes.
Mm-hmm.
But if people took a second to look at it a little harder, it's missing part of the armor That is very apparent.
Yeah.
Meaning that it's an incomplete form, not a berserk form. And the reason that I say that is, look at build. That one was a true berserk form that got modified to be forms.
Yeah.
And still could function as the berserk mode on its own, even after the fact. I never would have saw this being that, looking at the suit.
Hmm.
Because, I mean, this one's clearly missing parts. This one is really more akin to 01 Shining kind of deal.
Yeah.
Where you can tell it's missing part of it, but it's still a form on its own.
Mm-hmm. And much like Shining, I'm gonna like it over the upgrade.
I don't know. I'll have to see the upgrade in action kind of deal.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the fence. Saying that you can clearly tell that it's missing parts of the armor, that might be what cheapens it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Shining over Shining Assault, yeah, I can understand that argument, because while Shining does look like it is missing what an upgrade should have, it still feels like it could be a complete standalone upgrade too, so it does kind of cheapen it when it gets overshadowed. It's one of those, I feel like that one is going to be the exception, not the rule, to the upgrade isn't complete, must complete.
Yeah. Trying to think of anything else. Oh, does it feel like K1 and Neon are kind of getting dumpstered a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I assume it's because it's like, we gotta do boost part 2 and we gotta do laser boosts. They kind of can't get to do anything really fun and exciting because we're kind of waiting for those to be done.
Yeah. But at the same time, we've had this happen before.
Yeah.
They're gonna focus fire on the new first. But what that's also telling me is the simple fact of they didn't just full on sideline them. We actually still had slight interaction and transformations out of both of them.
Yeah.
I get the funny feeling they're both going to be due for a big time upgrade too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just going to be a hand down from something else.
Right. Which, curiously, we got, I think it was Chinese trademarks for a couple of Geats things. I don't know if I talked to you about these or not. So we know a little bit more about Boost Mark 9. Supposedly, according to this trademark, it's supposed to come with a weapon. It's supposed to be like a bayonet-like weapon on a gun.
So we're doing reverse Hachidoki?
Kind of. I guess. And then the other thing, weirdly enough, was that Buffa's getting a new weapon? Not a new form, mind you, or new brace buckle. No, just a new weapon. Which is like, okay.
Huh.
And there's no name attached to it. There's nothing else. It's just the description of new weapon for Buffa. And that is the short and long of the rumor. And it's like, okay. And that was the only like Geats things out of like a bunch of other stuff. It was like a lot of premium Bandai stuff for like Sentai and Rider. Not to say that any of the Geek stuff would be premium Bandai, since honestly the only thing I would expect to be premium Bandai would be the Buffa thing. Maybe, but like we've been surprised before by this stuff, so I'm not gonna discount it from being retail at this point. But yeah, no word on a Kawa thing or a Neon thing in these listings, but that doesn't mean anything. We didn't know about the Vision driver going up until it came out in the show, and then it went up eventually after like the third person that used it finally used it.
Well, okay, you've got that. You've got cases like with Gaim, with Baron.
Mm-hmm.
If the characters are liked enough, then something's gonna happen. But I almost feel like they're playing this one a little closer to the chest.
Right. And then there's the other thing. I have to see if I can find this real quick, because the Desire driver has a ton of unused pin combinations that don't give sounds. But that doesn't mean a whole lot, because the I don't have the list. That doesn't mean a whole lot because like Command, what is it? Command, Howard, and what is its name? The jackpot one. Oh, why can't I think of the name of it? Fever. All of those are the same key in the Desire driver, and all of them they just tell the driver to shut up and play lights because they have their own sound effects programmed in them. So there's all these key combinations that would not play sounds, but the Vision driver has a key reader on it. So I'm really curious once the Vision driver comes out and we start slotting keys in there, if we don't find out that there's more buckles that just don't have, that just tell the driver to shut up and it does its own thing. Because maybe that might be where a Tycoon and Nago upgrade is hiding.
I could say that.
I think it's next month is when the Vision driver comes out. No, May. So we got 2 months left on that. But yeah, I'm really curious when that's going to come out, because the driver's got to be the one that says what buckle is in there. So they got to program all the names of the buckles in there. So it'll tell us if fantasy is still going to be a thing, because that's programmed in the Desire driver, and we don't still have a fantasy buckle. And it'll also tell us what other buckles we might be missing. Because it's easy enough to hack that. All you need is literally a 3D print of the pin code. Trying to think of anything else from the episode this week. Yeah. Except some people are thinking Jin is a future incarnation of Geats, which I don't know if I buy that.
I buy it.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I think he's more just like, he's just a big super fan of Geats. And so when he pops when he has those mannerisms like Geats, he's just emulating Geats.
No. I feel like that's actually a future incarnation.
But time travel shenanigans means that he's here now.
Probably one of them, because bear in mind, Ace only remembers certain things.
Mm-hmm.
He does not full on remember previous lives. It could be a case of that's so many incarnations down the line that he doesn't remember anything before now.
Yeah, because I saw the suggestion that Geets gets all his memories back from his different incarnations via his ID core or his Roman coin. One of the two. Which makes me curious if Jin touches any of those, either of those, if something special happens.
Because, you know, that's something else too. We only know half of his name.
Oh, yeah, we don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Granted, no, we don't know any of the supporters' last names at all.
Yeah.
Also, I guess Kyun is not actually paper. He just communicates to the paper via tablet.
Which is kind of a little screwed up.
Yeah, because didn't Kakuro like hint that he was actually the frog statue? Even in dialogue between the supporters?
I honestly don't know on that one.
Well, he at least mentioned it's like, oh, do you like this form of mine? Which means he can form change? Or shapeshift at least to some degree?
Question mark?
It seems like he might be the only one that's like, oh yeah, I just feel like changing my shape all the time since that's a thing they can do. Is Baroba changed her thumbprint to access the Claire True driver today? Which I guess that means that the specific vision driver forms are assigned per person instead of being like per belt.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, truthfully, that's just building upon the current rider concept of each rider has different forms regardless of if they use the same means.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
I was just curious.
Gaim, for instance, none of the different lock seeds changes the base food, it's just changing the attachment.
Mm-hmm. I was just curious if they were going to bite on, well, we've done 3 of these suits so far. What if not one more? Here's Claire the Third.
I mean, it wouldn't be a third. It wouldn't be Glare 3 because it's the same thumbprint as Glare 2.
Right, but that was before they revealed the whole thumbprint thing. That was just off last week's episode preview where we see her with the driver. I'm just like, oh, we're gonna get Glare the Third. Oh no, she just gets to use Glare 2. Okay, that's fine.
Look, budget's not that big. We already blew it on the CGI battle.
Yeah, and King Oger needs all it can get. So any spare budget goes to King Oger.
We have just enough budget to keep using the Fox form for Geets.
Mm-hmm.
Only because I feel like that is just a blur of stuff happening on screen whenever that is there.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Samiri got to do some fighting. Good for her. She gets. It is weird how much.
Possibly foreshadowing a form for her? Question mark.
You know they're gonna get the slap up driver on her at some point.
It'll probably be for a movie. But yeah, at some point.
Because here's the odd thing I realized. With the amount of arm buckles we have revealed, plus all of the main buckles we have revealed, besides boost, since that seems to be kind of like this guy gets paired with everybody kind of deal. It matches the exact number of riders we have in the show that use the Desire driver.
Sounds about right.
Like if you take our, what was at one point our core 5 of Geets, Buffa, Nago, Tycoon, and Punk Jack, all 5 of them get the same 5 main buckles that we've got in the show. And like Geets gets boost because it's his. All of our other additional riders we've gotten over the series can each have an armed buckle for the movie, because I'm still under the assumption that they're bringing everybody back for the movie. Because it'll be like a super big battle royale thing. Everybody's here to do a thing or something. I don't know.
No, you know what it is? For the movie? You know, we already have time travel listing in the show currently.
Yeah.
We go back to the first DGP.
Yeah. Granted, I'm also still waiting on John and Ben to transform, because damn it, we need them to transform and have their helmets, damn it. Which, why are they not just bringing them in at this point? Like, they need all the backup they can get, right? Why are we just pulling in more riders?
Because Game Master's the only one that can make belts and question mark.
Are they?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It just sounds like that would be the answer.
Oh, okay.
That or the Creation Goddess is the only one that can make them, and we've already found out that you gotta have both belts for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I full on could see that being the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they can make the attachments to go on the belts, but they can't make the belts themselves.
Right. Yeah, that's just my thought for a movie, because I can imagine the scene of just like our core three plus like Buffa, who's on the good guy side for this movie, because bigger evil than what we're trying to do. I'm with you just this one time, since he's clearly going down the Baron route and will end up dead before the show's over, because yeah, he's gonna die because he's gonna be final boss. I'll honestly be shocked if he's not final boss. But it's the four of them.
He's either final boss or he's what leads into.
Yeah. But it's the four of them, and then, oh no, we can't deal with this problem. We need more riders, and then like Punk Jack shows up, fucking Shiro shows up, then it's Dapon, and then like you pretty much get everybody in chronological order showing up, and they all transform together. It's more or less the guy movie is what I'm imagining. It's the one and only time you get everybody teamed up in this because that's the shot you sell the movie on, is everybody's here to do a big team up to save the day. Because it's the only time we get to do it because of something plot shenanigans. But I guess that's it for beats this week. Anything else before we move into Armada?
No.
All right, then. 45 to 48. We're just going to kick out for 45. Dash. More or less, Galvatron doesn't give a shit about the black hole and all the other stuff with Unicron. He doesn't buy it. He thinks it's an Autobot scheme to weaken his defenses.
Because Autobots definitely scheme to attack Decepticons.
Right. That totally fits their MO.
That's totally not what Megatron tries to do on a daily basis.
Yeah, also Thrust cackles, because guess who's on the Unicron side? It's Thrust. Yay.
Guess who's gonna be dead before the end of this season?
Yep. Hotshot decides he's gonna go talk to Galvatron himself, and he goes off to do so, even though all the Autobots are like, that sounds like a terrible idea. But he's gonna go do it anyway.
Except for Red Alert actually eggs it on.
Yeah. Hotshot breaks into the Decepticon base, talks to Galvatron. This is when both him and Starscream are just like, Thrust is a bit of a dick, and he's plotting against your back. And Galvatron's like, Thrust, are you planning a traitor? And Thrust is like, why, yes, I am totally 100%. That whole Hydra cannon, that's different tech than Cybertronian tech, and I'm not going to tell you where it came from, but you can probably put the pieces together. I'm taking this minicons. Bye. Also, Hotshot and Wheeljack are on the same page now. Wheeljack doesn't hate Hotshot anymore.
Well, Wheeljack's still gonna be the Decepticon. Just let that sink in.
Yes. Question.
Okay.
When the fuck did that happen?
When they were fighting.
Was it?
When they were fighting, when we cut away from the fight, though.
Okay, because I'm like, I honestly don't know. This feels like it comes out of nowhere just to give Hotshot somebody to buddy up with for the episodes.
Pretty much.
That's not Starscream, even though it would make sense for it to be Starscream, because...
I mean, would it?
It would make more sense if it was Starscream.
I mean, would it?
I mean, probably not at this point, but like, I would like it to be Starscream more instead of Starscream being this tag along or this person that goes off first and then everyone is chasing after him as he once more goes running after someone screaming their name and demanding bloody murder with them. Because that's all they want. That's all they know what to do with Starscream at this point sometimes. Also, that's the entirety of episode 45. That is 22 minutes of content summed up in like 2. So 46. Drift. Starscream goes after Thrust first, and then Hotshot and Wheeljack follow after, and that is 90% of this episode. This is where we also see Rad is having a shower in a regular ass human room that was built on the ship. See the pre-show for why this is baffling.
Also, I did kind of reiterate at the very beginning.
Yeah. Also, Rad believes that they met the minicons for a very specific reason instead of just by pure coincidence, because
he feels like he's seen it before.
Because Rad reads the script and doesn't tell anyone he's reading the script.
Yep. Because you definitely have to queue up for our trip to the past future
something.
I don't even.
Yeah. Anywho, Hotshot tells the Autobots about the whole thing with Thrust, so they're busy evacuating all the Autobots to kind of regroup so they can go fight Unicron because he's the bigger, more important threat. Somehow the kids and their minicons manage to find Thrust and Starscream first. Thrust's like, "Hey, Starscream, come work with me," and Starscream's like, "No." So they get in the fight, and then Thrust shoots the Requiem Blaster and blows up Starscream. And then they time travel. So Rad wakes up as a kid, moving to the town they were in at the start of the series that never got named, so I had no idea what it is.
Completely recalling the events that just happened.
Mm-hmm. And then they get pulled to a mysterious cave where all of the Autobots and the Decepticons are bound up in the goop because they've been captured by Unicron. Because oh no, the minicons are Unicron cells, and this was all a trap to absorb them in the past. Because Hotshot doesn't know about Earth.
Maybe.
But Hotshot says he's never been to Earth.
Okay, but here's the problem. If it was in the past, and they were killed this way,
Right.
they couldn't exist in the present.
Right.
So technically, wouldn't this be an alternate future?
I would assume so.
Where Unicron 1?
Because they also call Megatron Galvatron instead of Megatron, so it must be the future, I guess. I don't know how we got here to start with. Starscream got blew up, Alex got upset about it, and all of a sudden we're time traveling.
Because that was the thing that just completely killed it for me, because it's like, wait a minute. This technically would be the past still, question mark?
Yeah,
but
because
if
then
they
the
died
kids
this way, then would there even be a spark left for them to still exist in the present day? The logic answer here has to be this is alternate timeline kind of deal.
Right, except Rad talks to the Minicons, specifically Highwire, to be like, hey, come meet us on Earth. And that apparently leads to the Minicons doing the thing in the past that led us to the present of the show. So, fuck this time travel nonsense.
We have clear definition of 2 instances of past and one of past question mark?
Pretty much.
It's like that middle with the Autobots. It's like, no, if this happened, we wouldn't have them now, or at all, so alternate timeline, but then we still travel to current past to set up events for now?
Yes. It's stupid, is what it is.
If they had cut out that part with Hotshot, or just did it as some nameless Autobot, it would have been fine.
Except they also show, I think, like Red Alert and Prime and a couple other people.
Well, I mean, Prime, it would have been fine.
Right.
Prime always does, so I mean, that one would have been fine, but...
Oh, Cyclonus, that's who else they showed, because Cyclonus is important. They just say it's Galvatron and his army, like, off-screen. But we don't get to see them.
It's one of those, it's like, if they hadn't have done it with characters we already knew, outside of Prime, then it would have been fine. It would have been one of those, well, okay, that happened in the past. That's why the Minicon are here now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm puzzled on that part of it.
Yeah. Anyway, we come back to the present and we get a second chance to save Starscream. So the Minicons save Starscream from getting a hole blown in his chest for now.
Because, you know, big time travel trip means that we can rewind time just a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't ask. Don't know how you can stack time travel shenanigans on top of each other, but they did it.
Again, I don't even know how we time travel to start with.
Like I said, blah 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 blast, blah blah blah, almost death, blah blah blah, time travel.
Yep. Anyway, Starscream's now hooked up with the Autobots and the Minicons, and they're off to go take on Thrust. Hooray! Also, Highwire says, Rat's right, you did meet us in the past, so fucking I don't care anymore.
Which confirmed 2/3 of that time travel.
Yep. So, episode 47, Portent. I don't know what this word is.
I don't either.
Google help. A sign or warning that something, especially something momentous or calamitous, is likely to happen.
Also, the thing at the end of the episode.
So, omen would have been an easier word.
Or a kid's show.
Yes.
We kind of forgot.
Yep. Anyway, all of our bots and the kids are caught up together. They talk to tell Optimus and catch him up on stuff. Billy and Fred are neglected. I mean, Bulk and Skull are neglected because If the kids are important, especially why the fuck are the two of you here? You two don't even have mini-cons you're paired with. If you're going to be on this team, you should at least have been paired with some duo of mini-cons at some point.
Or at least one for them both to share.
Yes. Anyway, Autobots are continuing to like retreat, to like regroup to go fight Unicron. Galvatron's like, all right, cool, the Autobots are retreating, that's neat. Yay, I get to take charge of Cybertron with ease. But boo, I get to take Cybertron with ease, I guess. Eventually, Starscream and all the bots and the kids go through a portal to follow him. It ends up in a place with a bunch of spiders that start attacking them and stuff. And Hotshot and Wheeljack decide to go back to back and start spinning around like a Beyblade to clear them out, because that's a move of theirs. Okay. This seems as effective as the one time Ichigo and Ego did that, but the other direction. They try to rouse the minicons from their weapon states, because apparently they have no free will when they're in their weapon forms, which... Are we sure about that? I feel like that's wrong. Isn't that contradicted by something from before? Or am I just crazy?
I mean, probably this show loves contradicting itself.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, it's sideways, and Frost tried to wake up Unicron. They only got 2/3 of the weapons, so they need the last one. They still keep moving. Unless this is a Starscream at this point. Lexus loses her necklace that has the not rock from Mars on it. Instead, it's a rock from Cybertron, and she has to go back and get it, and Starscream has to save her and her minicon friend, and they do. Alexis says it's a rock from Cybertron, even though isn't this the first time she's been on the planet?
Yep.
So how the fuck did she get a rock from Cybertron?
Lucky? Question mark?
She hasn't had time to get a rock from Cybertron.
I know.
Also, where?
Yeah, where on this metal planet are you gonna get a rock?
Why isn't this the rock from Mars that Starscream got her and the kids before? Because that would make fucking sense. That's why she likes it.
You just said it.
Urgh.
That would make sense.
You have a perfectly logical and meaningful reason for what this rock is, and you decide it's not this, it's something else entirely that renders it meaningless. God fucking damn it. Anyway, everybody meets up, and they evac where they are, which apparently is the moon, and then we find out that Unicron is the moon, so now we gotta go fight the moon, because the moon is Unicron. The moon is not haunted, unfortunately. Unless we count Sideways, since he is a pile of static goo, which is the closest thing we have to a ghost in the show. Anyway, episode 48, Cramp. I don't know why it's called Cramp. Starscream and Wheeljack at this point have fucked off back to the Decepticons to tell Galvatron, hey, maybe we need to go team up with the Autobots to go blow up the moon, because the moon's going to try to kill us all. And we can't take that solo. We got to party up. And Galvatron's like, no, I'm a solo player. I will fight it solo. Fuck you. I have Starsaber. Therefore, the rest of the episode is trying to convince Galvatron that he needs to party up with the Autobots, even though he admits that he's like, I'm a terrible leader. I can't do this. To himself, mind you. I forget if it's this episode or a previous episode where it's like, I can't do this because I fought Optimus Prime too many times. I'm a terrible leader. I can't do this. Anyway, eventually the battle breaks out. The Autobots are more or less just defending themselves from the Decepticons as they try to like convince Galvatron to do it. Prime and Galvatron power up. Prime gets both his goodies. So he gets Jetfire's pants and then the shoulder cannons from Overlord. And then Galvatron has Tidal Wave and they do a fight and stuff. And then Jetfire, Tidal Wave fight each other. And Overlord disappears because he's not a character in the series. He's just a pair of guns. Where did he go?
Back to the ship to be the engine.
I guess. Anyway, all this fighting happens. Alexis, meanwhile, is just like, things will turn out great. It'll be okay. It will be fine. I'm totally not throwing up a red flag for someone on this cast. Then Starscream shows up. And he's like, Galvatron, we have to party up. And I will fight you for this. So he proceeds to fight Galvatron. And the two of them fight for a bit. Starscream gets stabbed in the chest. And he let Galvatron do it so he could be like, hey, we need to party up and I'm willing to put my life on the line for this. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to shoot at the moon. So he powers up his cannons after pulling the Star Saber out of his chest, powers up his cannons, shoots at the moon. And then the moon's like, fuck you, and then kills him. Thankfully, he ejected Swindle before the moon literally obliterated his ass. There is nothing left of Starscream after he gets attacked. Nothing. Literally nothing.
I mean, there is something. There's the dust particles that he left behind.
I guess. So yeah, Optimus and Megatron are really broken up about this and makes us like, or Galvatron. I'm sorry. Galvatron.
Megatron, you're fine.
Yeah. We don't respect his name change here. His arbitrary ass name change. But they're like, all right, fine, we'll party up. And so they do so. But then Sideways pops out and is like, I got the Star Saber, bye! So he steals that and he goes to power up Unicron. And then Lexus, her pendant broke. And so she's all upset because she knows that Starscream's in bed. And when she finds out later, she's really upset about it and sad. And that's how the episode ends. I feel nothing.
Same.
It probably doesn't help if they botch Starscream's like face turn to heel turn so fucking badly, it's ridiculous. It's one more week, folks. It's one more week. That's all I feel. It's just like, it's one last week of this shit. Because it's another 4 episodes of a show that I've like, I don't even want to give it the attention I give any other show we do at this point. I just want to run the episodes in the background while I'm dealing with other stuff and just be like, well, I'm sure something important happened.
But Unicron might be there.
Yeah, he sure is here with his horn sticking out of the moon. He sure is this threat that apparently is not connected to the black hole at all, I guess. Did he even make the black hole?
Maybe.
Like, where did the black hole come? Did he shoot the black hole out while no one was looking? And then everyone went, oh shit, a black hole. We probably need to solve that somehow. But yeah, that's Armada for the week. I've got nothing else. So next week, it's the final 4 episodes of Armada. Will the show pull a miracle and make us like the show in 4 episodes? Not even gonna let me finish.
Nope.
Fair, because I don't even buy that. I'm like, there is nothing this show can do in 4 episodes to make me go, no, this show's kind of bad. I'm sorry, it's kind of bad.
It is meh at best.
Yeah. Which just makes me go, I don't remember Energon. I swear I've seen episodes of Energon. I don't remember a goddamn thing about that show. I think I remember Cybertron better than Energon. And Cybertron is the show where they were like, this totally has nothing to do with the past and previous two shows. Absolutely. And then backpedaled on it later in its production in Japan. And then apparently in the States, they were like, no, it's totally in canon with the other two shows. Except we have to bend over fucking backwards so many goddamn times to make that happen. It's ridiculous. Like, guess what happens in Cybertron when they go to Earth? They have no idea what Earth is, and they think it's the first time they've been to Earth. After a show where they had been on Earth for months, and another show where they established cities in Earth and cooperated with Earth's governments.
Well then.
Some part of me feels like if we even attempt to do Energon, it's just going to be down further. And then Cybertron is somehow below that. So we're not going to do them probably ever. But anywho, between now and then, Thursday we'll be doing Resident Evil 4 probably as a midnight stream. I'll give a specific update on Twitter closer to Thursday once I get more information. But Friday will be a thing.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay. And then Saturday will be TTS, where we get to talk about a Persona mobile game and other stuff. Probably. I have no idea. But if you like what you see in Felix, drop a follow. Really appreciate you. I feel like go at Jesus in a Twitter. Gets updates alive. Next mission, win discount. Jack is like drop by, say hi. See you Thursday, folks.